Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? And as you can see, once again, I've been in the garden. My my fingernails are a bit dirty. Okay. And so our card for this reading, every reading, I pull a card, usually from the Thoth deck, and for this reading, it is the Prince of Discs. Okay, so we have that real airy energy and earth energy combined. So, definitely a time for concentrating on practical matters, work, getting projects done, kind of figuring out where you're running into problems, executing your plans and such, and kind of working through those things. Okay, so I am going to start right here. There's a lovely little rabbit. It looks like it is laying on its tummy, and its kind of head is here, kind of laying there. We have rabbits in the backyard. Well, in the front, they're all over the place here, but I see them in the backyard at times, and not as much since it's gotten really warm, but during the winter I saw them a lot, and in the spring. But they just love to kind of stretch out in the sun and warm themselves. Now it's probably a little too warm for that, a little hot. So I imagine kind of laying and resting and cooling their belly, and just kind of taking a little break. And so I think that we've been talking about a lot lately, Leo kind of gaining some focus and just kind of really getting the wheels turning, kind of really just applying yourself to those beginning steps of getting a new project going, not worrying about lining everything up perfectly, but just doing something, right? And I think that this is definitely the energy. I will mention also, we are in the year of the rabbit, the water rabbit, and I do believe that this is such a happy sign. I think that just seeing the life in these animals, the happiness, the silliness, they're such lovely creatures. And I think that oftentimes, Leo, you are really about the work, about your business, and that you can get very serious about doing the things that you want to do. I think that you are always trying different things, always busy with some kind of project or planning for a project. I do think that there are times, that you're easily distracted. Not all the time. Sometimes, though. I think that, oftentimes, maybe being distracted by things that you'd rather be doing than the work. Having fun, going out, being with friends, family, having fun in your love life, your dating life, your married life, your in between, whatever that is, your partnered life. And I think that, there are times when your resources, as far as your energies, can get depleted. So although you are really in that place of working hard right now, just make sure that you enjoy yourself, but tempered, right? Stay on track, but make sure you're resting, make sure you're hydrating, make sure you're getting enough sleep, all of those things. Okay. And so next to it, I see a goose here. I'm trying to see. I see a goose, and I just imagine that this is some kind of food. Whenever you see a goose really going for something, it usually is food or it's going to bite you. So, I think, the goose is an interesting creature. A few years ago, my husband and I were watching this goose. He had shown up. He was living in a field near our home, and he was out there all by himself for days. He would just kind of sit and wander, be in the shade, kind of, forage through the grasses and things. He was, just out there all by his lonesome. And, I couldn't help but start to feel a little sad. Like, hey, did he get lost? Is he lost his flock? What is going on with that little Canadian goose over there? And so the days went on, and then one day we were driving by, and his mate had showed up. And he looked, really, and maybe this is just me projecting, but that guy looked so happy. He wasn't alone anymore. He was out there. He had a friend. He had a love. And they were, out there feeding together. And everything felt so much happier to me. I really felt such an emotional attachment to this kind of this story of this goose and his waiting and patience, and finally it paid off. And just looking at this image, it kind of really makes me think of that. And then I see it almost looks like a person sitting on its back, kind of about to fly off with this goose, right? And I think that, there is this feeling of patience, of enduring and being certain of yourself, waiting until, not waiting inactively, but just knowing that the time will be right. It will come to be the right time. And and it will be fulfilled. And with the person sitting on the back, I feel like this almost kind of magical, fantastical payoff. Doing the menial tasks. Continuing on every day, staying consistent, building the foundation for the empire that you want to build, getting everything kind of aligned. not giving up on yourself, knowing that you have that thing, you have that ability. You're smart, clever, able, creative, force to be reckoned with. And it's just about timing sometimes. And so you just kind of continue on. Don't give up on doing that stuff that just feels tedious. I mean, hey, sometimes I'm really tired doing these readings, but I have days where I really didn't know what was going to happen with this channel, but it's growing, and you watch as you meet and relate to so many people, and it is such a blessing to be able to do so. And it really, this has been my project right now, just really staying with it. And I film, 7 days a week usually. So it's a lot. I mean, it's, listen, it could be way more, of course, but you just stay the course where you can. Do the best you can. And, where you fall short, sometimes you have to be loving to yourself. Nobody else is going to support you the way that you support yourself. I think you know that, Leo. If anybody knows that, Leo knows that, because you might have a lot of fans, you might have a lot of people cheering you on, but nobody's a bigger cheerleader than yourself. And that's a good thing. I think that is a big positive. I wish I had that sometimes. I do a little bit. I mean, deep down, I really do. But I don't know. Sometimes, I just look at people, Leos, Aries, these kinds of signs, Scorpios to some extent, just really, you know what you're doing. I wish I knew what I was doing all the time. Okay, let's see. Now, I'm looking at this one. It looks like a person standing. Okay. And it looks like their arm is up, and I have a bird on there. It's kind of landed right there. And right next to him, looks like a flower growing. Reminds me of like a poppy, maybe. But also another bird here. And, to me, well, and it's interesting because if you look over here too, same kind of person, arm extended, reaching out. And then over here it's mirrored, but then there's the bird landed. So it feels again like this idea of staying the course, working your butt off. I mean, really, that's what it takes sometimes. Of course, I'm a big supporter of the idea that, work smarter, not harder. Is that what it is? Work smarter, not harder. I don't know. But also, you're going to have to work to get things, to get to where you want to go. Of course, also, I'm very much about people figuring out how to do the things that they love, that inspire them. If you can make an income doing that, that's freaking wonderful, every Leo that I've ever known, solar Leo, is such a passionate person for something that music, writing, painter. One of my dear friends from growing up became a painter, street artist. But I mean, that's a painter. I'm not trying to diminish that. It's whatever. It's street artist, multimedia street artist, and I can't think of anybody who is not any Leo that I know that is not a very passionate person about something. Hopefully that something is something that is productive for you. It doesn't have to be lucrative necessarily. Again, it's great if it is, but very passionate. And I think the big thing is learning to have the patience. The flower gardening, that's a big one. We all want things right now, right? And of course, you can go out and buy the flowers that are already bloomed and plant them. I do some I plant seeds, some I buy that are already budding and stuff. But there's something so beautiful about watching things from a seed, planting it, tending to it, it's sprouting, and then it grows, it flowers. And then it explodes. I mean, it just grows exponentially. And you watch all the little bugs that come and visit, and get to meet all these different kinds of pollinators. Every day I meet a different kind of pollinator. So interesting. So many of them. So many species of things. And you learn how to be more patient. Of course, I mean, there's so many times I go out 3 times a day to look to see if a bud is opened up, because I really want to see what these flowers are going to look like. What is this color going to be? But you have to be patient. There's no other way. You can't speed up Mother Nature. So, I think that my husband said this to me. We were talking today. He said that he saw a quote in some show he was watching, and it was something like, "The best hunter is more patient than hungry." And so you have to go through the tasks. You have to set up the work, set the foundation, set up the system. Do all the menial things, the tedium. You have to be consistent. There needs to be stability, a lot of resolve, right? And then hopefully you start to see some kind of progress. You start to form relationships with the things that you're doing. Maybe even like networking, real relationships with other kinds of relationships with people, collaborations, business kind of relationships, acquaintances, whatever. And then, really the universe provides, right? Begins to smile upon you. You become open and receptive in some ways. Those magical little birds come and visit you, bless you with their presence. And so things kind of fall into alignment. And yeah, we can wait until everything's right. The stars are aligned in such a way. It's an auspicious time to win the lottery, whatever It is. But the reality is that lasting success comes from continued work. Nobody can give you the answers. You must find them, seek them, create them. I always like that thought, you know, I am the question and the answer. It's true. It's true. So let's see here. What do we have? We have a bit of a little serpent here and a little bird. Another little serpent. They almost look like they're all drawn to the sun here. So, you know, I think with the little bird, harmony, a sweet song. The serpents, usually, you know, knowledge being bestowed. But I think in this case, because there are 3, they all seem to be kind of drawn to that little thing of water there. That looks like the sun. It's a little T there. It makes me think that, well, and it's interesting because when I was starting to get ready for this reading, I was thinking this motif that came about a couple weeks ago in another reading, which was about kissing the serpent. You know, kissing the bestower of divine knowledge, of a shift in consciousness. Being stirred from your slumber enough that, yeah, you get expelled from that that perfect state, because there's more information. You know, the more you learn, you know, the more complex things get, the more, you know, we can fall into being afraid, feeling like we have no place or meaning, or we are not, because we live in maybe, possibly, infinite cosmos, the infinite universes, multiverse, whatever, realities, that we're just some tiny, almost nothing blip. But, you know, I think really, we are the world aligned, the universe aligned, and I just saw a spider run across the floor, I'm sorry. The universe has to align in so many ways for us to be. And yeah, maybe we are both infinitely divine and infinitely meaningless at the same time, right? And all of the places in between. And it's hard to kind of come to terms with all of this and all of this nothingness at the same time. But, you know, I don't know exactly, besides that, in, you know, these revelations that you maybe have, these feelings that are profound and weigh heavily on your mind sometimes, maybe keep you awake at night. You know, the only thing that you can really do is try to live as well as you can, you know, and try to love as much as you can. Enjoy the little things those little subtle things. Okay, so I'm going to say thank you, and I hope that you have, oh gosh, that was loud. I'm looking for the spider. Where did it go? Oh, goodness. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of poisonous spiders around here, but I thought it was like a little fly, like a house fly, but it was a whole ASS spider. All right. I want to thank you. And if you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. We just got 10K subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing so. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what's going on with you. I love hearing from all of you. And we will talk again real soon. I'm going to go find this spider and see where it went.